Defense, we got Devon Taves, Cale Makar,
Oh man,
Dobson, Bouchard, Theodore Petrangelo, Mackenzie Weegar. I think that this is criminal because they
Bouchard's
don't
got to
have
come
Josh
down,
Morrissey. They don't have Josh Morrissey,
and
and that is
Morrissey's got to go in.
criminal.
Again,
Yeah.
this is based off last year. We can tell. There's no reason
Yeah.
based off what we've seen this year that these lineups should be what they
So
are. Now,
based on
that
this
obviously the
year,
people making the lineups are also basing it off last year because Team Canada sure as shit ain't thinking. Um, God, if we lose because they just picked a shitty roster, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
oh, I'm gonna be
How
so
much
annoyed if they
politics
do
goes
that
into Team Canada? Just put the best team on the ice. I don't care who the
because
guys are. I just want to win the tournament. That's
there
what
were a couple
USA is
players
doing. Like you
here.
look at USA's roster and it's like, man, like you can't like it's so hard to argue with a lot of the guys they cut and put in because it's like it's so close. You know what I mean? Like between like Robertson and Caulfield, it's like, like there's great arguments for either, but like between like, like
If either of them
Marchand
makes
and
it,
Shifley, it's
they'll
like
be
it's
good.
clearly Shifley.
Here,
Yeah, no.
I was looking at stats beforehand, and I know the top, like the defenders for Canada that have been the best this year are Makar, Morrissey, who's not there, who should be there, and Theodore. And then the next one, who's also not there, is Dougie Hamilton.
So we're
Yeah.
all in
Dougie
agreement.
Hamilton and Morrissey should both be on
Okay.
this team,
Are we all
and
in
they've
agreement
both been insane.
you don't fuck with Taves Makar? That's your first and you just leave it?
Yeah.
No one,
I
everyone
think
I
agrees?
I think
actually,
Theodore and
I have
Petrangelo.
questions there. I personally have questions because Devon Taves has had a brutal start to the season. I would consider putting first pairing Theodore Makar.
Yeah, actually that's not bad too.
Because
That's
also
fair.
I like Theodore.
Vegas hasn't been playing Theodore and Petrangelo together.
I just
Worth
like the
noting.
chemistry that Makar and Taves have together, and I don't necessarily think that the reason like I don't like
If
Colorado has so many more issues that it's like
Yeah, that's true.
it's
if
hard to
Taves is
say
making the
like
team, there's no reason to not have them together.
Actually, yeah,
that.
that's you know what? You're right.
It just doesn't make
Like
sense.
you know what? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I you can make
yes,
a good
yeah, we
argument.
agree. He's had a difficult year, but like again, this is Team Canada. This isn't the Colorado Avalanche. Like
A
the
lot of it
chemistry, I agree it's concerning. And if Taves doesn't turn around, he continues. Like yes, you can't do that.
I
But
still
based
think
on
he
what we've
makes
seen
it,
now,
I
I
guess.
still like Taves and Makar together.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I think that it'll get better.
Dave, do you have
Dobson,
Bouchard
Bouchard.
on that
I
team?
would
I
say
I might have him on the third pair or seventh D, but right now there's some
I
guys that I
no.
think move
I
ahead of
would just
him.
think Bouchard and
I put
Dobson. I
Morrissey
mean,
and Hamilton in.
yeah, I like Uyghur. I don't
I
like
like
Bouchard. I don't like
Uyghur.
Dobson. I
I
think
would drop
Uyghur,
Bouchard.
Hamilton,
I would
and get rid of Bouchard and Dobson would just be it's the best possible lineup. Like
like
Bouchard's
Morrissey and
awesome.
Hamilton should both be on this team based on how they've been playing
Yeah,
this year.
Bouchard's awesome offensively, but he's just
I
a
watched the Leafs
defensive
game.
letdown.
I watched the Leafs game against Edmonton this past weekend,
Oh,
and
that was a like
Bouchard was just he'd give up in the defensive
he's
zone.
the
He just would
defense.
stop. Like there was
I've
a
had him in my
goal
fantasy
where
before, and he just lets you down. Like he'll score
yeah,
points, he'll give you a ton of goals, but he's just defensively not there.
yeah, like fantasy
He's
Totally.
he's good, but if you have him like it's he shouldn't be on this team. He'll be a liability,
yeah.
especially because like he's a great on the power play.
I mean,
He's not going to make the power play over Makar and
I mean,
Morrissey. Like first
yeah,
line
like he's
Makar,
had
second line
success on the power
Morrissey.
play
but he's also
Like
on the
based
top power
on
play.
like no, he's had success on the power play, but how much of that is just due to like who he's on the ice with and the way that they set the plays up
yeah,
around him and the
Yeah,
who's expected to
which
shoot and the fact that you don't expect the shot to come from him, so it's more surprising. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much context there as to why he's been good on the power play that I think
would
once you
oh boy.
unpack it, it doesn't necessarily work in this scenario over another guy.
like,
Yeah,
do we think
totally.
he would produce the same on like the Canucks or
No,
No, not
Colorado? Like, I don't
necessarily.
no.
think so. Like,
Like
I
I think
think
he's gifted offensively still. Like he's a
yeah,
really good offensive player, but he doesn't have
he's no two-way. He's
the
an offensive
mindset to
D.
play like he would need to be offensively, he'd need to be putting up 100 points. So like for him to make this team right now, he'd have to be no doubt the top power play guy, and Makar is without a doubt. Like he's not
Yeah,
that
no,
guy. And as soon as he
Exactly.
falls out of
It's
that role, he doesn't fit
yeah.
this team because he
If you
get
want to match the
exposed.
player to the role, the best player at that role is going to take the role. And if your value as a player is that role, but you're not better than this guy at that role, then you might not make the team because you
Yeah,
need to have something else. You're going to be in a different role. What do you bring to that role? You're not, yeah, you're not on the power play. Matt Makar is. Okay, so what else can
exactly.
you do? Okay, well, if you're the only thing it really is the power play, then unfortunately we might not have a place for you. I think I have, oh man, where James, who do you put Morrissey with? Because I absolutely agree he should be on this team.
I
So
like
I put
Hamilton.
Chemistry wise.
Morrissey. So right now, I think I'm gonna make a slight thing. I'm gonna drop Dobson because I think Taves should make it. I think I was being over exaggerating. So I would have, if you have Makar Taves, I
Yeah.
would have Morrissey with Petrangelo and Theodore with Hamilton. Just because on Vegas, Theodore and Petrangelo haven't been playing together, and I think that they had a bit of. I think that you should then maybe putting them together now might not
Petrangelo
work. So I think having Petrangelo with Morrissey is a really good idea.
and Petrangelo and Theodore are kind of the same player. I'm
Yeah,
not
and then
like
you have Hamilton with Theodore,
they're
and
both
then
good
they're all
two-way
deadly.
defense. I mean, and they'll do well together because of two-way defense, but they are kind of the same player.
I
Like
just
they
think
could
you
Mhm.
want
they split up. They're
like
basically
you want Petrangelo, who's I think a bit more he's a bit more responsible defensively, with
yeah.
Morrissey, who is a bit smaller and might have some defensive warts. So you want to
So
have that
who's like
cover.
your left D going down then?
So
Taves.
lefty would be Taves, Theodore, Morrissey, or
Okay,
and no,
Dobson's
I
getting
could.
cut.
So Dobson's getting cut, Bouchard's getting cut, Uyghur's my seventh. So I have Taves, Makar. I have Morrissey left with Petrangelo and Theodore with Hamilton on the right. I probably have, and those are my top six. Uyghur seven.
I don't, man, I don't
Hamilton's been so good
know
this year.
that Dobson should be out over Theodore. I think that
I
there's
don't
an
know if
argument to be
I'm
made that I
considering
put
Dobson
Dobson
over
in over
Uyghur.
Theodore.
I'm
Interesting.
considering
Yeah.
Dobson over Uyghur as well.
I just can't. I have a really hard time
Yeah,
not putting
Dobson and
Dobson
we.
on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Dobson's
Dobson has been better than Uyghur this year, I think. Uyghur's
yeah.
been good, but he hasn't been the same as last year.
So, okay, I have Taves, McKinnon, or not McKinnon, McCarr. I just wrote
Yeah.
Mac. I just wrote Mac down, and then yeah, I just auto-filled. Taves, McCarr, Dobson, some right defenseman that I haven't decided yet, Morrissey, Petrangelo. Would you put Uyghur with Dobson, or is that too much of a
I'm not sure.
liability
Over
Oh
Dougie.
wait,
Like
Uyghur is responsible.
over
Uyghur's not a
Dougie?
liability.
Uyghur is the question is it Uyghur or is it Dougie put in there?
I think this season you have to.
Uyghur's
Even though I love Uyghur and he's on my team, I think you have to put Dougie in this season.
Dougie's just an all-around good player.
Like
Like
the way Dougie's been playing this season, he's been better than Uyghur. He like
yeah, I mean, and
So you
Dougie
go
is like
Taves, McCarr, Hamilton, Morrissey, and then I'd go Dobson, Petro, but I could see an
and then
argument
Theodore
for,
seventh.
yeah, Theodore seventh.
I like Dobson. Yeah, yeah, I can see that too.
I can see that. I can see
I can see the seventh being kind of interchangeable. Like honestly, they can rotate through.
like when
Like
I can see that because I can see a lot a lot of options where you do rotate guys in and out
I don't think
just to make
five,
it work
six, and
better as well.
seven are
The problem
that
is I
different.
feel like, I don't know, like it's hard to say that you want to drop any one of these guys, but just feel like there's just a little too much offensive focus on this decor that for a team that's not going to struggle with offense, that like I almost like I wonder like Hamilton, for example, like do you want him on this team
As a
over a
third
guy?
line.
Yeah, over a really good shutdown guy that might not be like a star or like have the
This is
same
where
kind of
the
name brand,
this is
right?
where the
Like
Chris
it's
Tanev argument comes in.
Yeah,
yeah, he's a
like,
little old, I
He's a
I
bit
think,
old for me in this tournament as
but then you
well.
have Marchand, so it's like,
and
right?
Crosby, you have Crosby too, which
Yeah,
is
Crosby.
Crosby's kind of a different scenario. But this is what I mean.
yeah,
Like
but
when
still,
you take a player like Marchand on like it's just like they could be such a fast team, but some of the players that they're picking, it's just like it seems like you're just hampering the form of your team, like just because you don't want to leave this name off. It's like I'm
Hmm.
gonna leave off whatever name if you don't fit the role. But the
Yeah.
best hockey team is gonna have each guy in the right role, and
it
if you're not the
kind
best
of
guy at the role, you get cut. Doesn't mean you're a bad player, but I'd
yeah,
rather have, yeah, like if McCarr's on the team, sorry, Bouchard, you're not. Maybe you're
No.
better than this other player, but because you're on this team, whatever. But like if he can be a shutdown guy, I'm taking him.
yeah, I agree.
Because you
I
want
think a
that.
lot of these guys are being drafted based off of their
Yeah,
name and their career. Like it seems like some of these
there's no excuse to put Marchand on this team if
no,
you want to win a hockey game.
yeah, no, it's
Like put Barzal in.
yeah.
He's so fast.
But
He's
Barzal
Yeah.
so
would be an awesome.
Like you could, in theory, roll out a top line of Barzal, McDavid, McKinnon.
Oh, you
which
like
means
oh you
no
like
that would
one
be a
catches
terrifying. Yeah.
anyone.
yeah,
Like no
okay.
one catches up to anyone there.
Maybe like Marchand is like a shit stirrer, like a dickhead. Okay,
Like what if
Bennett's
you put
better.
Marchand with
Bennett,
Bennett?
no, what Bennett's better. Bennett is better right now at the dickhead being a
What if you put both of
pissing you
them
off,
together?
whatever role.
What if you put
I
both of
don't
them
think you
together?
need to. I don't know that I do because I don't know that like I have Bennett. I don't necessarily want a Marchand. I want like a, it's it's hard to criticize Marchand so hard because I know he's a Bruin and I don't want to sound too biased. But like it's just I don't know that that's the best team Canada ideally has him on it. And it's the same with like we were saying like a Bouchard or like a oh man, even like Dougie Hamilton. Like I look at this and I go like, man, like I have Taves and McKinnon.
You don't need
I
him
have like
necessarily.
yeah, like I have McKinnon, I have Petrangelo, I have Morrissey. Like what is Hamilton a little redundant? Would I rather have like a like obviously Slavin's American, but would I rather have like a Slavin type,
Yeah,
right?
someone who can be more of the shutdown pair. Like I get that.
Like I look at a guy like Caden Gooley, who I feel like is a few years away, but he's kind
He's
of
not
that
there yet, but
crafted
yeah, I get what you
player
mean.
of but like a physical defenseman that can move his feet and plays a responsible game that might not be as flashy, but when he's on the ice, he makes it like
Mhm.
if you don't want to put the puck in his corner, and when you have like a guy like Makar who's high in the offensive zone, a guy who can hang back, and not only that, but is such a fast skater as a defenseman that he can beat if McKinnon's rushing the other way and Gooley's skating backwards. I've watched it happen. Gooley can keep up with McDavid, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what you want. You
Those
don't want
kind of
to.
defensive players, I think, will win you a hockey game more than just like a Dougie Hamilton, maybe.
No,
Not
yeah,
no offense to him, but it's just it's about
Or
roles,
if you
right?
want to talk about, if we look at like the Islanders, both Ryan Pulak and Adam Pelech are Canadian.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
what if you?
Pulock and Pelech just take them as a pair because they know how to play with each other, and just whoever's your third pair, toss
Yeah,
that out and then throw that. If you're up in the game,
they're not as
those guys can
flashy.
play 30 fucking minutes and make sure nothing happens. The game might
Exactly.
be boring as hell to watch, but if you're up 2-1 and there's 5 minutes left in the third period, I'd rather have those guys
Mhm.
on my bench than, for example, like Hamilton and Morrissey. As great as they are, but it's just like I have my Makar for when I need a goal. I need my Pulock Pelech for when I need to not get a goal scored on me when I'm winning,
Exactly.
right?
Dave, I think you mentioned a good point there. Is a boring hockey, and boring hockey is the only way to play hockey. You don't want to play hockey that's fun and it's
Yeah.
fun to watch. You want to play boring hockey.
Yeah.
If you want to win games, your team has to be boring to play.
You want to play
Again,
Any
fun hockey when
bad
you're
team,
tied.
any bad team, when you say the positive quality, it's like, well, they're fun to watch, right?
yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
doesn't. It's not good because it just means a lot goal scoring. If you want to have a good team, they have to be boring. You have to go to games like fuck. This is a boring game to watch
Hmm.
because those are the teams that win you games.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy that you guys kind of like really kind of see the same things I do with the fact that like it if Canada doesn't win this and we look at their roster and say, well, you could have done this, you could have done that, you shouldn't have that guy, it's going to be really frustrating because it's
It
like
is. If they picked
we
it, like
know
if they
that
picked
we didn't
Bouchard in there
have
and
the
a bunch
best
of
shot we
stuff.
could have. Yeah, it's like if
If
this guy
Bouchard
was in
makes the lineup, I'm
there,
gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Bouchard's not there
No,
no.
he shouldn't
for this
be. Like if
roster.
they,
How
there's
the
a real
fuck do you
chance that
not
they
put
mess this
Mark
up.
Scheifele even as a 13th forward?
That too.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous this season.